Hello, everyone.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Brian.
Everyone else.
So it's a little after noon. I don't know that we have a quorum, but I don't think we have any official business. Is that true?
I would like to get a vote on Stories and Stones, whether it's going to be happening this year or not.
Okay.
Kim did reach out and say that she's going to be a little bit late. IT is installing a new computer.
Okay. Maybe we just give her a couple more minutes.
Yeah, she didn't give us a timeline. She just said she'll be a little late.
Oh, okay. Well, how about if we do a roll call? Does anybody mind doing a roll call? Please.
I can go ahead and do that. Hold on one moment.
Thank you, actually.
Okay, Neil Carson. Paul Filicetti.
Here.
Pat McHugh. Kim Seeberger. Ashley Hunter.
And Kim is just joining us now.
Okay.
Kim, if you're there, please acknowledge us. Okay, so we'll move on from there. Our next item then is public comments on items not listed on the agenda. Do we have any public comments? There's Kim. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on and go directly to financials. Brett.
Okay, here's our May financials. I guess if you want to look them over and got any questions.
I have none. Kim, do you have any?
Hey, Ash, can you pan down just a little bit on that? I'd like to see how we compared 22 to past years. Okay.
I believe FY19 was 73 internments, so we should get real close to that, if not surpass it.
Kim, you're muted. still muted. Still muted. Okay, well, I think Kim's struggling with some new computer issues. So I'm assuming you don't have any questions, so we'll move on. Oh, she raised her hand. Is that a staff issue? Can you let her talk?
It looks like that's on her end.
Sorry, Kim, we can't hear. Maybe you should shout really loud. Okay. If you'd like to put something in the text or chat, we could see it, but other than that. Okay. I think we can move on to the next document.
I just got an email from Pat that says he's trying to join the meeting.
Great, thank you.
We're sitting really well on our budget. I guess we're not in danger of going over on anything, so that's good news.
Okay. And I have no comments. So okay, I think we can move on from there. Thank you. So moving on to item 5 on the agenda is 5.1 metal building update. Brett.
So our metal building was delivered. So that's all here. The concrete pad was poured on Tuesday, so we're waiting for that to fully set up before we can start erecting the building. So hopefully in another week or so, we can start assembling the new building.
Okay. And then we'll move on to item 5.2, stories and stones.
Yeah, so as I'm sure the board was aware, we had an on-site meeting with numerous representatives from Forefront. Would they bring 10 or 12 people, Brett? They had engineers, architects, structural, electrical folks. We gave them a tour of the facility. They spent quite a lot of time in the building and looking at the surrounding infrastructure and landscaping, and they had a lot of good ideas, some suggestions. We kind of talked about on possible building placement. One of the questions that came up is I was asking if we would have to comply with the Missoula public art ordinance. And Jessica Holdren did a little research, and it seems that we will. So that 1.5% of the construction costs will have to go towards some kind of public art. And they're going to put together some possible concepts and then figure out how we can comply with that. I suspect we would be seeking feedback from the board or other citizens or entities in Missoula, and probably looking for some art ideas. And then I think it was the following week, they made arrangements to view the tenant space on the top floor of the office building, the space that's rented. And we had to give the tenant, 2 weeks notice, Brett, I think, or.
Yeah, it was just a week. But
Was
yeah,
it a week? Okay.
They came out on last Wednesday.
Oh, they did. So that was done. Okay. And so we haven't heard anything back, but we received an email from Jessica Holdren, I think a couple of days later, and they're working on their concepts. So we're looking forward to seeing that report.
Do we have an idea when it might be available?
She didn't specify, Paul. I'm reviewing an email here, and she didn't give me any specific time frame.
Okay.
It looks like it may be submitted around the middle of July, according to their phase 2 concept development.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. So we can look at that or discuss it, I guess, at our August meeting, probably.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay. Thank you for that report. And I'm just going to go back to Stories and Stones for Brett.
Yeah, we're just looking we need a vote, I guess, if we want this to be held. As it stands right now, I don't think our booklets are going to be available back to us. If we don't have anything for the public to read, are we in violation of any ADA laws for the hard of hearing? Or yeah, I guess I'm not sure. So we're looking for the board's input and vote on this.
I'm curious too, Risa, did you have any further contact with the lady that coordinates the actors? Have we heard anything else from her?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
You know, this is Susan. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I don't know if it's a violation of ADA not having written materials available. I hadn't thought about that. I'm thinking, you know, I'd have to look into it, but if we aren't going to have the materials ready and we haven't heard back from the person, it might not even be an issue at this time if we don't hold it.
And I have to admit, I'm not that familiar with what the process there is kind of behind the scenes in terms of the board, like how long it takes to put together something like that for scheduling the actors and whatnot. Krista, do you have any idea like what schedule, like are we on schedule or?
I would say at minimum, we would have to make the decision today. It does take several months to plan the event, preferably at least 4 months.
Okay. Well, it is one of the, or it is the kind of fundraiser that brings people out to the cemetery. And I know that there are people in the community who even though they come in the past, they'll come again. And I think it's a pretty popular activity. I know,
Well,
yeah.
And Paul, I think that we all agree with that. It's a very popular event and we get a lot of public outreach and everybody seems to enjoy it. But just as a refresher, remember, we had that review of our documents relating to political correctness, I guess, for lack of a better term. Remember, we were having our documents reviewed and edited, and that process has not been completed. And then also the actor coordinator, she was very much opposed to having the actors submit their scripts to us for review to make sure that they complied with our standards for correctness. And she did not want to do that. So I think with those two challenges still looming, we've hit an impasse that I don't think we're going to get over before we need to start preparing for this. So I personally don't think it's possible, regrettably, but it would be nice to have a board vote on it, but I don't think we can do it. Unless we did some modified version without the booklets and we could trust the actors and what they say. I guess that would be the option.
I think it'd be good to reach out to the individual who did coordinate this and explore it, maybe not this year, but for next year, and see what we can do as a means to work around the actors having to submit something and see where we can find some common ground there so we can get the event going for next year. And, knowing that it takes a long time to pull this together and there are a lot of people involved. I want to be sensitive to everybody's time commitment here, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think we're asking the board to vote that we're going to eliminate it forever. I think what Brett's looking for is for this year. But yeah, no, I think we should definitely still continue to work towards it, possibly for next year. And I agree, maybe we can figure out a solution to this. But I don't think it's going to happen in 4 months.
okay. And Kim, do you want to make a vote? If you want to make a vote, nod your head. Or if you don't want to make a vote, give me some indication.
Can Kim do a thumbs up or thumbs down on the screen? Must not be an app on this one.
Hey there. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's going downhill.
Okay. So Kim, I put you on speakerphone so everybody could hear you, but the gist of that was that Kim's thought is that it's not worth proceeding with this year.
Correct.
And I agree with that. So I think, Brett, with that clarification, I think you're good to go. Any further discussion there? Okay, we can move on. We already did the forefront update. How about hybrid meetings, Katie?
So we were notified last week by city administration that as of July, we have been approved to do hybrid meetings for all boards and commissions. So as of next month, we have the option of being in person for our cemetery board meetings. I'm not sure which conference room in the city that we will be assigned to. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that we will be moving to hybrid meetings.
Great. I look forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get everybody in person again.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, once I know more, I'll send out an email so we can all coordinate.
All right. Thank you very much. Board chair discussion is our next item. Does anybody want to talk about this?
Oh, I thought we would have Neil here today. So since he's not, we can probably skip this item for now.
Okay. I will say that Neil did reach out to me saying he would like to step down from the chair position and was looking for someone to step into that role. And I just haven't had a chance to address it with him or talk to Kim or the other board members. But I would like to do that. So maybe that's something we just put off until next month.
Okay, great.
Okay, some informational items in.
I have a couple of things. Last night, I mean, y'all knew that the cemetery was being awarded the Centennial Award from the Historical Preservation Committee. So last night they had the ceremony for that, and I went out and accepted the award on behalf of the cemetery. It was a nice ceremony. It was nice to be outside and meet new people. And we also had a very busy Memorial Day weekend despite the weather. So people are coming back out and ready to be outside and celebrate no COVID.
Right on. And just to kind of add a couple of comments on the awards last night. I do have a photo, Brett, and I'll send it through. So you have accepting your award. And thank you very much for participating, being there. And your words last night, I appreciate that very much. So thank you.
Very welcome.
Being there. Any other items? Okay. Any communications? I don't know exactly what that topic is, but okay, I just have one thing to say, just in terms of the presentation that Jeremy gave last month at the meeting where we didn't have a quorum. We were going to try to get a quorum. It didn't work out, but I did attend the city council committee meeting on that and spoke to a few people at the city regarding the proposal, and I totally agree. I was in full support of the idea. Just was uncomfortable with it going to the board for kind of a discussion when there wasn't a quorum. So glad that proceeded the direction it went, and thank you, Jeremy, for taking the time to present that. I just wish we could have been a larger quorum. Please go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I'm sorry we didn't get to discuss that as a full board. And I think it's still a good idea for us to have a discussion at the board. And I appreciate that we did get support from the board members that were there, and that we were able to help Mountain Line go forward with their application. I think that was an important step. There is a lot of detail to still be worked out. And so it would be good for us as a board to discuss that and get out ahead of whatever the next steps might be. And in particular, making sure that as council moves forward on making those formal decisions, that they understand what previous obligations have been expressed through the strategic plan or otherwise to the cemetery, and how that might line up with some of the work that we're starting to scope with this architectural consultant. So I'd like to keep it as an agenda item in the future months, and it might line up really well as we get the reports back from Forefront to, go back to City Council with an informational item to let them know what's coming.
Wondering, now that we do have the ability to have meetings, is it possible we could invite City Council on site and do a kind of informational tour, get to know the cemetery type thing?
That's a great idea. We have new council members, and it's entirely possible that a lot of them have never been out there. So that a show and tell is a really good idea.
Yeah, I'd love to participate in something like that, just to get some impressions, what people are thinking.
Along those lines, we've been doing informational presentations for all the public works divisions with council. I've held off on doing cemetery, thinking that the time to do that might be when we have a little bit more information on what our plans are. And so maybe that lines up later this summer to do that in-person tour of the cemetery, talk about what's in the plan and where we'd like to go next.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to allow them to get their eyes on it and see what the cemetery is doing, what its deficiencies and needs are before, or as it starts to consider modifications out there too. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Thank you. Any additional comments from anyone?
I'll just add that Brett and Brian have really done a great job managing their budget and keeping the cemetery running smoothly. Our board participation's been off a little bit, but I also will take that as a good sign that you are all happy with the work that we're doing and that there aren't any major concerns. So, please let us know if you see that differently, but seems like things are running pretty smoothly.
Yeah, thank you. Good comment. Okay, with that, I guess we'll adjourn. I don't think we need to vote on adjourning. I think we can just all say we're going to adjourn.